whenever I'm buying something, one of my favorite questions to ask the person helping me is there a good, a better, and a best version of this, whether that's a vacation or a home remodel or whatever it is. So as a fee-only financial advisor, it's one of the things I like to explore with my clients is let's think through what the good, what the better, and what the best version of your retirement is. And so in today's video, I want to walk you through that. Now, this isn't financial advice for you. I don't know your situation, and we can only explore this so much in the video, but let's jump in and give it a try. Okay, first I'm going to start with the financial aspects of retirement, and then we're going to talk about the non-financial. And I think the non-financial aspects are even more important than the financial. So is there a good, a better, and a best version of retirement, right? And if I ask my client this, they might say, well, $1 million for retirement is good, $2 million is better, and best is $5 million. And that's true, but I'm talking about other conditions other than, Moore's Law, which says that more money in retirement is better than less, which, by the way, is not always true. So from a retirement financial aspect, what is the good, the better, and the best? The good is, you have a financial plan and you have the financial resources to execute on that financial plan. You feel pretty confident that you have the financial resources. So that's the good, but what's the better? The better version of that is not only do you have the financial resources, but you're debt-free when it comes time to retire. And I really do encourage folks to do what you can. I know it's hard to do, but to the extent you can become debt-free in your 50s, it really opens up a lot of freedom and a lot of optionality for you, a lot of flexibility if you do decide that it's right for you to retire early. So good is you've got the resources, better is you have no debt, and then frankly, the best is something that you probably had to put in place 20, 30 years ago, which is not only do you have the financial resources, not only are you debt-free, but you have a nice pension. And then the better version of the best is you have a pension that's adjusted for inflation every year. Now, very few of us have that, but that's the good, better, and best from the financial standpoint. But let's talk about good, better, and best in some other areas. Okay, relationships is really key in retirement. So it's one of the most important factors that indicate that can be an indicator of future happiness in retirement is how many relationships do you have in your life? So, obviously good is you've got a handful of those. Maybe most of those are family members. So good is you've got a handful. Better is you've got more than a handful. You've got both family and non-family. And then the best is when you go to bed at night that you feel like, you're swimming in love, that you have lots of people that you care about and they care about you. And I call that swimming in love. So that's the best situation from a relationship standpoint. And I do think relationships, having strong relationships is really key. And you know what might be more important than even the wealth in retirement, and that is your health. If you ask most 80-year-olds, would you rather have twice as much money or, half as many diseases and health challenges? Would you rather be twice as wealthy or twice as healthy? You ask an 80, you ask a 20-year-old that, you're going to get probably most people are going to say twice as wealthy because the health is kind of taken for granted at that age. But as we approach our 50s, our 60s, our 70s and beyond, we cannot take our health for granted. So let's talk about good, better, and best for health. Good for health is you're working out occasionally, you have a decent idea of what your benchmark health is, the types of things that you should be watching out for, what the doctor is saying, hey, eat less of this, try to do more of that. So for most of us, it's going to be, eat less salty food, eat less junk food, and work out more, right? So that's good if you know what that is. And frankly, a lot of people don't. So good for you if you do. Even better if you're doing some working out as well. So better is, you're taking the time to cardiovascularly work out and keep your heart healthy. You're taking the time to occasionally lift some weights to keep your muscle mass in place. They say that we lose 2% of our muscle mass. Not a physician, this is not my area of expertise, but suffice it to say, as we get older, we lose our muscle mass. So we have to go to the gym and lift heavy things occasionally. Not because we want to get all bulky and be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. The reason is that, just to maintain our muscle mass, which is really important. So that's better. And then best is not only are we doing the workouts, but we're also fighting the battle in the kitchen. And we're taking the time to buy healthy food. We're taking the time to prepare healthy food at home, or we're investing the money to have somebody help us with that. That's kind of one of my dreams, is to have somebody that's helping me with the grocery shopping and preparing healthy meals. And I'm a big fan personally of batch cooking. So, one of the things I want to invest in soon is to have somebody do that batch cooking for me. So I know, I tend to eat the same thing for breakfast, oftentimes for lunch. It's the dinner and it's the snacking afterwards. So I know, okay, eat this, and I'm being as healthy as I can. So good is we kind of know where we are, and we're doing a little bit of eating okay. We're doing a little bit of working out, but it's not a core part of who we are. Better is we know what our health is. We know what the triggers are, what we're supposed to avoid, what we're trying to do, and we're doing the working out part. And then the best is we're also working on the nutrition side of things. So we're going to the gym, we know our health, we're going to the gym, we're working out, and we're taking care of our nutrition. Okay, and the next one is really important. And, unfortunately, it's around a third of people, a fourth of people are going to have a letdown when they first retire, right? At first it feels like vacation, then vacation's over, it becomes the new norm, and you find out that 24 hours is a lot of time in the day, and how are you gonna fill that day? And so coming up with your new purpose, what gets you excited to get up in the morning, and what is your new identity? What's your new purpose? What are you passionate about? For some people it'll be traveling, although I will share that it's not as universal as people think it is, right? When I ask somebody, what are you planning on doing in retirement? The two most common answers I get is I'm gonna spend time with my grandkids and I'm gonna travel. And those are great, great answers. They also tend to be the default answers, the ones that maybe people haven't thought deeply about yet. So if that's your answer, I'm not saying those aren't great things to do, but also think, are those really going to be your passions? And if they are, great. But if they're just kind of the default answer, it's like, when you're 7 and 8 years old and people say, what do you want to be when you grow up? A lot of little boys will say, I want to be a police officer or a fireman. And I have two daughters. One of my daughters would say an anthropologist. She wants to be an anthropologist. The other would say she wanted to be a nurse. And you know what? They're either those things now or they're on the path to being those things. But it's kind of the candid answer for a little boy is police officer or fireman. So if that's your candid, your not fully thought through answer, give some thought, because there is some disappointment that can set in once the vacation aspect of retirement has worn out. So the purpose, you're doing okay if you have an idea. Better is you have an idea and you've done some volunteering in that area already. You've put some time into it already. And best is, you just can't wait to retire, because you're doing it now and you just don't have enough hours in the day. So as soon as you retire, you know exactly what you want to do. Few people are in that situation. And if you are, congratulations. But that's the good, the better, and the best. And the good, better, and best for the next video would be to watch this video up here, which are 8 things that I want you to stop doing as you approach your 60s to enjoy your retirement more. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in there. Bye-bye.